Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Ali here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about DC reveals Tim Drake's new costume. Um, Tim Drake is hands down one of my favorite Robins. No, actually, he is my favorite Robin. He is my favorite Robin, and next to him is of course Dick Grayson. I love Dick Grayson. I enjoy a lot of his banter with Bruce Wayne. But the thing I love about Tim Drake, and I definitely talked about him further in a lot of the new Batman stuff, is that Tim Drake is what Bruce Wayne would have been if he never lost if his family, if he didn't devolve himself into becoming the Batman, but still wanted to be a hero. And Tim Drake is that person. Tim Drake loves being a hero, and he loves the fact that he can help people, and he doesn't allow the darkness to take over him. It did a couple of times with the death of his mom and definitely with the death of his father again with the hands of Captain Boomerang, but it never really. But with Bruce and Nightwing and even Alfred, he was able to finally let go of it. Now, the last time we caught up with him, he basically walked out on Bruce and left to go and find out his own self. And now to let you know, this is probably gonna be a pretty long video because I personally do not like how they did this. I think that the first thing they could have done was they should have given him a limited series, like a 6 series book series, just to catch us up with what happened with him and where his mind is at and where he's mentally is at instead of what they're doing here. Now, I'm gonna read this, and this is at comicbook.com. I don't like this website. However, it does do a lot of pop culture and it does give you some information. It is a little biased, but I'm willing to literally read what they're trying to do and give you my idea and give you my opinion and also what I would have done. Because I love this character. I think that Tim Drake is quite possibly the redheaded stepchild of the Robin of the Batman universe. This character has gotten shafted so much, it's ridiculous. In Young Justice, the cartoon TV show, he's barely in there. And in the last set of movies, you never seen Tim Drake. You only have Damian Wayne as his Robin and Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. And that's it. There's no Tim Drake, and that's an insult. To me, that's a huge insult. This Tim Drake is the reason why Bruce, after the death of Jason Todd, never devolved into becoming worse than he is. Tim Drake gave Bruce back his heart, and if it wasn't for, and people don't realize, and I talked about this before, Bruce looks to Tim like a true son. He looks to Tim like a true son. This kid took everything that Bruce Wayne taught him, and sponged it up. He was a sponge. He learned as much as he possibly could, and he utilized it and became a great hero in his own right. And for DC to completely lambast him and completely subjugate him as he's a forgotten Robin, and prop up Damian Wayne as this is Robin, I go, wait a minute, what happened to Tim Drake? What truly happened to Tim Drake in the animated side of the spectrum? They in the 90s they introduced Tim Drake, but he had more of the Jason Todd personality than he was Tim Drake, and that was an insult. And then you got him in Return of the Joker, where he became the Joker. Are you freaking kidding me? There was a lot of things they did to Tim Drake that made no sense to his character, and they just completely just let him be forgotten in the animated side of everything. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I mean, Tim Drake is the 90s Robin. He was Robin for close to 20 years. No, for 22 years. He was a long-standing Robin, and for him to be completely overcasted because of Damian Wayne, I understand that is Bruce Wayne's biological son, but in all retrospect, Tim Drake is closer to Bruce than even Damian, because Tim Drake was there. He took what happened with that when Bruce broke his back, when Bane broke Bruce's back. Tim Drake was there. Tim Drake was there even during the whole Azrael Batman series. He would not allow Azrael to take over his city and ruin Bruce's legacy as the Batman. He was there when Bruce basically gave up on the family numerous times. He never gave up on Bruce. When Bruce died, by the hands of Darkseid during Final Crisis, it was Tim Drake that believed that Bruce Wayne was never dead. So I don't want fans or anybody coming up to me and saying, well, Tim Drake's not that, Tim Drake is cool, but he's nowhere near as cool as this character or this character. He's not meant to be physically a powerhouse. He's meant to be, this is what Bruce would have been if he never devolved himself into becoming Batman, but become a hero. Tim Drake is just as smart as Bruce Wayne, and that was proven, and that was told by Bruce Wayne. He is as skilled as a tactician as Bruce. He was capable, even at his older stage. If you read some of the these newer comics where they've met the future Tim Drake, he was capable of taking on Damian Wayne and Dick Grayson and Jason Todd at the same time and take them all out because he knew how they're fighting. He knew their fighting ability. He knew what they could do. He was nervous as hell trying to take on Bruce Wayne because Bruce Wayne is a different animal. He knows what would happen if he ever tries to get into Bruce's mindset. And Bruce took him out because Bruce knows how to fight. So I don't believe that you could sidestep this character. He deserves to get a little bit more play. Now, that's my rant. That is my rant, and I'll read this, and we're gonna get started. So it says right here, DC recently revealed some of the upcoming covers of the November books, and the latest cover for Justice League number 10 includes an interesting surprise. The cover features the newest member of the team, Naomi, front and center, but fans also noticed one of the members got a costume upgrade. That would be Tim Drake. So what they're trying to say is that in Justice League 10, we're going to be reintroduced to Tim Drake back as the Red Robin, and they're most likely going to reveal what he's been up to. Now, there's a lot of things I would have done, and I will say that at the end of all of this, aka Robin. But he's no longer living up to that name with his new threads. The costume is actually brown, yellow, and black instead of the typical red and black of the recent years or his green, red, and yellow looks from the past. Now, I can see why they're not doing that, the green, red, and yellow, mainly because that's Robin. That's what Damian Wayne is wearing. That's his colors. So he cannot. I understand that. That's perfectly fine. But him giving up the red and black, that's the colors of Red Robin, and I understand why they're doing this new color scheme. I don't understand. And you can check it out. Check out the cover below. While it seems odd to go with the brown or possibility of possibly really really muted red, it's actually more comparable to the bird he's named after. A robin is very much in line of that color scheme. I could see why they're doing it because a robin is not a true red and black. He's not. I like the explanation in some of the illustrations, even in the live action, to why Dick Grayson was called Robin. One was I think his original costume was like a red and yellow, and and in some illustrations they said that Dick Grayson was so graceful in the air it was like he was a bird, and his parents called him a robin, like he flew like a robin. And and that was said in some illustrations and even some live action. So I think that's where that's why they were going with it. But Tim is gonna make it more of the true color scheme. So okay, that's perfectly fine with me. That I'm okay with that. Although the brown can sometimes be more orange in nature, it seems far more accurate to his title, but that doesn't mean it necessarily looks good as his other color schemes. Understandable. It really doesn't look that good. I will let's look at it real quick. Let's see. Oh, sorry. It's right here. So, let's get rid of this. I don't care about that. Okay, so that's what his color scheme looks like. I don't like it very much. He looks like a bee. He looks like a bumblebee. It looks kind of strange, But the thing is that that's just a picture. There's no context behind why he chose that and everything else. So let's. I'm sorry for coughing in your ear, but let's get a little bit further. Like I said, I'm really tired, and this is like almost midnight here. Okay, so you can check it out below. So that's the picture of it, and so it's the new Justice League 10, and it's written by Brian Michael Bendis. Oh Jesus God. Okay. Brian Michael Bendis. Okay. I'll give it a shot. I will give it a shot. I will give it an opportunity. I'm just hoping he doesn't do slapstick comedy. I don't want him to write these teenagers as stupid teenagers. Tim Drake is not a teenager anymore. He's actually a grown man. He's a grown man, and he should not be acting like a teenager. He takes things a little bit more seriously, but he does have a little bit of that Richard Grayson mentality. So he does have a little bit of a slapstick in him, but he also takes things very very seriously because he, just like Bruce, he knows that things can go very 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 south if you don't take things too seriously. So um let's see what else it says. It looks like this will be his new suit for a while, and we're interested in see what fans think. We won't find out why he changed costumes until September, so it won't come out till September, but it will coincide with his new superhero name as well. So the whole being more accurate to a Robin thing might be thrown out the window if his name is something vastly different. You can check out the description of Young Justice 8 below. Lost in the multiverse, the young heroes of Young Justice must stay together as they fight to find their way home. Too bad they're about to cross paths with their own evil lookalikes. Plus, the secrets of Ginny Hex are revealed in a special sequence illustrated by Sandra Casagrande. Get set for some craziest stuff you've seen in years. Spoilers. Okay. Um. Okay. Sorry about that. So again, like I said, for the suit, I have no problems with the suit. I just want to know what his new superhero name is going to be. I truly hope that he keeps Red Robin, but I think he wants to try something a little bit different, and that's perfectly fine. Um, we have to see. And Brian Michael Bendis is not a bad writer, but he's also not. If he's trying to make a grandier thing, it can really go too far out of his reach because he's trying to tell so much, and he's trying to do so much within the confines of what he's supposed to be doing. He could try to be building way too much, and then it's like, wait a minute, you're building way too much. Now we have to fix what you're basically building. He's done that before. He's done that numerous times. At Marvel. So we have to see. And he doesn't, a lot of people don't like what he did with Superman, so it's like, what are you going to do with Young Justice? Now, okay. Let's go. Hold on. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Prime Earth Tim Drake. Okay, now Timothy Jackson, that's his middle name. Timothy Jackson Drake. Now, this is the Prime Earth, not the New Earth. The New Earth is a lot different. This is before the New 52. This was when he first came in 89. So there's a lot there. I mean, he was Robin for a very, very, very long time, and it just there's a lot here, and I feel that this character deserves a lot more than getting screwed over. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to Prime Earth because that's the new Earth we're in. We're in Prime Earth. This is the result of the New 52 and Convergence and what we're in Rebirth. This is the Rebirth year. This is all about Rebirth. So let's see. Death of the family. We're gonna do Robin War. Okay, so basically Robin Eternal. Okay, so the last thing we knew with him was he basically walked out on Bruce um, after he got back, and after the whole situation when his future self came in, and um, he after he came back to Earth, he came in and he helped him defeat the situation that was going on, and I don't want to spoil that either. So when he came back, he helped him defeat all that situation, and then we find out that there was a future version that came from the future, and he was trying to stop Batwoman because she was the one that killed Bruce Wayne, but she actually didn't. And it actually comes to find out that Bruce Wayne did this as a way of setting certain things in motion. So Bruce was still alive in the future, and it really uprooted everything because if he believed it forced Tim to become Batman because Damian was nowhere near ready and Dick Grayson did not want it. He really did not want to become Batman, and Tim believed that Richard should have been Robin in the first place, and he felt that this got thrust on him and he wasn't ready. So he became Batman, and he believed that all this stuff was going on, and he tried to save everybody, and he was trying to get rid of Superboy, which is Superman's son. So after all of this fell through, he's now falling in flash time, going to all these different dimensions and trying to figure out the nature of things. So the current Tim Drake left Bruce because he felt that it's time for him to walk away. It's time for the bird to leave his nest. And Bruce was upset. He was very sad that one of his sons is leaving. And it's not the fact that Tim left him on a bad note. It's more the fact that he left him because he wanted to go find his own way, become his own man. And he never left Bruce angrily. That's the end of what the last time we've ran into Tim Drake. Now, here's what I would have done. I would have done let's see. So you guys get me. Okay. Here's what I would have done. I would have done a 6 or an 8 issue series. And it's just called Red Robin. It's a simple book. And you have Tim in the suit beating up criminals, and he's being vicious about it. He's being angry and everything else. You're going to find out that Stephanie Brown left him. And Stephanie was so angry over the fact that he was still jumping in and out of the suit. She's telling him, "Are you, dude? We walked away from this life because we wanted to be regular people. And what do you want? Do you want to be Robin, or do you want to be Tim Drake?" And Tim being the type of person he is, he can't see injustice and don't do anything. And she's more in the fact of, I don't want to be a part of this life anymore. And I think that that's the best course of action. It leads to destruction. It leads to death. You died, and all this and that. So you're getting a lot of what's going on in his mindset and what's going on in hers. She wants to be out of the life. She's done. She's done. She wants her own life. And you have Tim who's saying, I can't sit idly by and allow injustice to be running the streets. He wants to do something about it. And she says, you could do a lot better just by being a police officer or a lawyer or something else. You don't have to put on a mask to be a hero. And I don't want them to write it where Stephanie Brown's is being a bitch. Okay, and you don't need to do that. You give her good, firm reasons of why she's telling Tim you don't need to put on a mask to be a hero. He goes, you're not Bruce, and that's what sets him off. He goes, it's not about Bruce, and it's not about that. I think it's more about you and your father, and that's what honestly ends their relationship. She says, I cannot believe you said that. He goes, I can't believe you said it's about Bruce. It has nothing to do with Bruce. I never walked out on Bruce in anger. I walked out on Bruce because I left Bruce to go find my own way. And if I have to put back on the suit and not be the sidekick, then that's fine too. But why does it have to be about Bruce? It has nothing to do with Bruce. And he makes a firm point. She's making it that it's all about Bruce, and it has nothing to do with Bruce. He wants to be his own man, but that means that if he has to put on a suit and not be a secondary to Batman or Bruce Wayne, then I think Bruce will even be more applauded of that. He'd be like, you found your way. You found the type of thing you wanted to do with the rest of your life. Own it. Be it. Don't let anybody else take it away from you. And that's where you get him. He's angry. He starts to be he's being a little bit more vicious about what he's doing, and he decides he has a new suit. He gets a brand new suit, and he designs a brand new suit and everything. Now you get a lot of him doing a lot of Sherlockian Holmes stories where there's weird killings in the city, and also I would put him in some place where Batman can find him if he wants to, but nobody really knows who the heck he is. And you make him a certain type of hero like the Vanisher or something like that, like a pretty cool name. And that's what he adopts as he's the hero in this city. And everyone talks about this new hero. They don't know what he looks like and this and that. And it kind of attracts a little more of the national news because he's solving crimes and he's leaving the villains behind, which is a kind of like a Batman type of thing. So they think that, hey, we got our own Batman. You better watch out Gotham City. And you got drug kingpins. You got criminal psychos. You also have him create almost like his own version of Moriarty. And this guy is doing it because he feels if he could take this guy down who's doing all this stuff, then maybe he could be on the same league as a Batman villain. Like he could probably go to Gotham and be this big gigantic criminal kingpin, and he could be on the same level as the Joker or Penguin. But he's very small time. So you're sitting there going, really? I don't think so. But the way he does his crimes, you can see he is very, very intellectual. He just doesn't have the physical prowess to be able to take on Batman or anybody else. But he has the mental acuity and the mental genius to be able to pull off a lot of crimes, almost in the same vein as a good Riddler type of villain. Except that Riddler will go toe-to-toe against Batman. He will pull out a gun, or he'll have his goons take care of him. This guy does a lot of cerebral crimes and cyber crimes, which works in the same premise as Tim Drake. Now, you basically build him up. You build up this villain. You build up a huge little event that's going on in that city, and you're gonna have the devolve of his character that he's exposed, so people now can see who he is. And but he goes by his name. But you have all this big stuff going on, and again, it's a small little segment series. But you build up all the stuff that's going on with Tim. And where is his head at? Why is Stephanie not with him? And all this other stuff. So then you take him out, once the story is over, and the first thing at the end of the story is he goes back to his little lair. And the first thing he does is the moment he gets into the room, he doesn't even turn around. He goes, so you found me. And the light turns on, and you see both Bruce and Damian. And Damian's like, shh, we could have found you any day of the week. And you hear Bruce say, quiet, Damian. Go outside. I want to talk to Tim. And then you see Tim just going. And they have this long talk. You see Bruce just walk over. He takes off his cowl and he sits down, and he has his hands folded, and he's just leaned over. He's hunched over, and he says, I want to talk. And Tim's like, what's going on? He goes, he walks over and he sits down, and all you see is speech bubbles, but nothing in them. And you see a long screen, and you see their silhouettes, and then you see Tim just leaning over, and you see him giving him a hug, and you're wondering what the heck is going on, because Bruce is telling Tim what happened with Selina. He is letting Tim see the vulnerable side of him, and that's something that you'll never ever gonna go, whoa. And that shows how much Tim means to him, because Tim knows that Bruce loves him. He knows it. He knows that Bruce loves him. He knows that Bruce can't really show that emotion because he has to be emotionally detached. But this scene is a scene that makes you go, wow. it really makes you just go, whoa, to the relationship between Bruce and Tim, that Bruce is telling him what happened with Selena, why Selena left. No, that Selena left, and how does he feel about it? What and asking gets him and bounce ideas off him, like, what should I do, and this and that. So then at the end of the book, Damian's sitting outside and he's going, what the heck is going on? He's about to go back in, and then that's when Bruce comes out with his mask on, and he says, okay, we gotta go. And then Damian's like, okay, what you guys talked about? He goes, I've talked about things I felt that need to be talked about. And he walked and he gets in, he goes, let's get in the car, we're leaving. He goes, well, what about Tim? He goes, Tim has found his spot, and we're going to leave him alone. And he goes, Damian's like, aren't you going to make him come back home? I mean, come on. I mean, he goes, no. He goes, no. He goes, as you said it, he's not a Wayne. He gets in the car and he drives off. You're like, whoa. Even Damian's like, what, really? He gets in the car, you see Tim just looking over, and he walks over, and you see a suitcase. And he walks over, opens the suitcase, and it's his old armor. It's his old gear. It's his gear that he was wearing as Red Robin with the hood and everything. And he looks and he kind of smiles, and you see him open it up, and you see him starting to tinker with it. And then you're like, okay, and it says picks up Young Justice. And that's when you get Tim Drake introducing himself in a new suit, but it's in the same variant of his older suit. So now you're getting an understanding that Bruce gave him his old suit and gave him the tech to basically do whatever he wants with it and go out there. Just go out and be a hero. And he got the okay from Bruce. And Bruce gave him a suit and he's ready to go. So you got Tim doing his own thing. And it's perfectly okay. So when he shows up, everyone's like, whoa, where'd you come from? He says, he goes, yeah, I got a new suit. I'm trying some new things. And that's it. And you're like, okay. But the biggest thing a lot of people wonder is, what the heck did Bruce talk to Tim about? And I just told you, he told him about what happened with Selena. He told him what happened with Selena. And what did it do to him? And the emotional toil it took on him. So Tim is even telling him, yeah, Stephanie left me too, and blah blah blah. And they're having a father and son talk. And the thing is that Tim has nobody to talk to about this. He can't talk to Richard about this, even though they're very close. He sees Richard like a brother. He doesn't feel like he should talk to Bruce about this because he doesn't know if Bruce is going to want to be able to listen. What can Bruce tell him? But because Bruce is talking to him first and telling him what happened with Selena, because even Bruce even kind of admits that he can talk to Alfred about this, but he needs to talk to someone else, someone that he feels that he's very, very close to. And that's Tim. Tim, he's close to Tim. He's very close to Tim. If people say, oh, no, he's close to Damian. No, he's not. He's not as close to his son as he is to Tim Drake. Tim Drake is basically, without a blood relation, is his son. He looks to Tim like a true son. And it breaks my heart that fans do not get to see this in a cartoon or even a live action. You don't see how much Tim Drake means to Bruce Wayne. And not as dearly as Richard is, because Richard is his first son. That's his ward. That's the first child that he took into his home and tried to make him into a hero. But Tim Drake, he sees more in Tim Drake than he does in Richard. Tim is almost a direct clone in intellect, in smarts, and in fighting capability, and tactical ability, and leadership quality. He sees that all in Tim Drake. Tim Drake will be the perfect Batman if anything ever happens to Bruce Wayne. But he knows that that's not his destiny. He doesn't want to force that onto Tim, even though he's been training him and getting into him and a lot of things. People don't realize that even the Justice League, if something ever happened to Bruce, they will either go to Richard or Tim. They don't look to Damian. Damian is still a young child. But when it comes to Richard or Tim, they go, what would you guys do? Superman would even do it. He'd be like, so what would you guys do? Wonder Woman would be like, yeah, what would you guys do? What would they do? And they'd be like, okay, well, even Richard would be like, no, Tim, what do you think we should do? Tim would have a plan like that. He would have a plan like very, very quickly, and it's very to me, it's very disservicing to the character. and people don't know that. No, I'm not saying that Damian's a terrible character, and I'm definitely not saying that Richard's a terrible character. What I'm saying is that they built Tim to be a certain way, and he is great. He's a great character. He deserves a lot more respect than what he is getting right now. Now, in the comics, I think he should have gotten a limited series. He should got a quick limited series, get us caught up to his character, so people go, whoa, this is what happened to Tim Drake this whole time? Okay. And they give us a limited series with him having building up a new city. He becomes a new superhero in that city. He becomes a new vigilante in that city. He cleans it up, and then all of a sudden he gets thrusted into this whole thing going on with Young Justice. So then when he gets back into his own, and if they decide, hey, you know what, let's do a mini series within like every 6 to 8, like 6 months to a year, we'll bust out a quick limited series, then that'd be great. I would have no problems with that. I would pick that comic up no my business, because that's how much I love Tim Drake. But that's what I believe. I think that they should have. They should have honestly built his character a little bit more before thrusting him into a gigantic team event. And nothing wrong with Young Justice. I think he'll be perfect on Young Justice. He'll be perfect on that team, and he can really get that team into bigger prominence, especially with the fact that they introduced a new character called Naomi. So that's what I believe. I think that Tim deserves a little more respect, and I think that he should get a limited series run for a little bit, and then get him into the grandeur stage, and then once in a while take him out of the team and then put him in his own limited series back in that same city, and he's clean and he's going against criminals. And then when you think you're ready, bring him back into Batman. Bring him back into the Batman universe, back in Gotham, and go from there and see what happens with this character. But right now, what the heck? We have to see, and I'm hoping that they end the relationship between him and Stephanie Brown. I think that Stephanie Brown was the worst thing they ever did with this character. I feel that she was not detrimental to him. I think that she really in all brutally honest, she limited him. She made him weaker, because her character was never going to become a hero. She never wanted to be a hero. She only became a hero because of Tim. She only became a hero because she felt that it was the thing to do. She never had the heart to be a hero. She tried to become Batgirl for a little while, but then she kept mucking that up, and then she was that series was tanking, and that's when they brought back Barbara Gordon. That's when they brought Barbara Gordon back in the New 52. And it's like, wow, I mean, that tells you something, that Stephanie Brown is a better character to be in a limited time in, and then get rid of her. And I think that this is the time where they should get rid of Stephanie Brown and let her character move on to a greater sunset, and let Tim be his own character. And if they're destined to be together, they're destined to be together. But for right now, the way they built her up in all of the Batman stories in Detective Comics, all the way up to his death and return, Tim Drake's death and return, they made her character very, 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 very B. And her character did not deserve it. So, like, comment, share, subscribe down below, please. Let's talk about this. What do you guys think? Do you guys like Tim Drake? I'm not saying that Tim Drake's a better character than Damian Wayne. There's a lot there with Damian that needs to grow. I don't want to see a Batman Jr. I don't want to see that. That's not what Robin's character is. Robin's character is not meant. Robin's character is supposed to offset Bruce Wayne. Bruce is the brooder. Robin is supposed to be the more of the slapstick, supposed to be the roundabout kid, and Damian comes off very, very obtuse, and he acts way more like Bruce Wayne, more like Batman than he's supposed to be. And that's why I say that Tim Drake was a better Robin. He is the best Robin, because he took things seriously, but he also did do a lot of joking, and he tried to keep things more lighthearted, because he was a lighthearted teen. He wasn't bogged by the darkness of the lifestyle. He actually adopted to it. He grew past it, and he became a great hero in his own right. But I don't like Damian Wayne, the way they built Damian Wayne, because they built him to be he's supposed to be the predecessor to Batman. He will eventually become Batman in the comics, and that'll be the detrimental of the Batman character. But that's what I believe. You guys don't have to agree with it. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. That's why I always say about this channel, if you don't like it, you can disagree with it, but give me a good, fair disagreement of the character. give me a reason why you like Tim Drake or you don't like Tim Drake. Why you think that Dick Grayson is the best Robin, or Jason Todd, or Stephanie Brown, or Cassandra Cain, or oh man, Carrie Kelly, or Damian Wayne. Why do you think that they're the best Robins over Tim Drake? Let's keep it civil. Let's keep it a little bit civil. But you can have your passion, but let's keep it civil and respect everyone else's when it comes to this, everyone else's opinions. Okay, you guys have a great night. Like I said, I will probably be able not to get to another video. This is one of my last videos for the next few days, unless I hear something that really needs to be talked about. But you guys have a great day. All right, bye.